Martin Welton. I'm a senior lecturer in theatre and performance in the Department of Drama here at Queen Mary. And what have I been doing with QM+? Well, one of the things is I've been using the Glossary on QM+ as a tool to really try and help students think through some ideas relative to their performance practice. So what that's meant in a very bald way has been them keeping consistent video records of work that they've done in a studio space like this, uploading it onto QM+, and then using the Glossary feature of the web tool as a means of recording keywords. So the major ideas that they have, things that they notice, things that they want to draw others' attention to, things that they want to remember, they'll put those things into the Glossary, and then over a period of weeks they've got a kind of data bank of ideas that they can keyword search. And what really attracts me about that is firstly about trying to help students record what's quite an ephemeral process, so one that slips away, that's quite hard to capture just in a set of written statements about it, and to use video and then another kind of idea of writing as a means of trying to draw other people's attention to what they've been doing. So why I did that is because I guess I'm concerned that there's a lot that goes on in spaces like this that students take very seriously and that they find very important, but that sometimes it's very difficult to account for. So firstly, by getting them to consistently video their work, I'm hoping that they get a certain kind of record. But then really in beginning to use these keywords, there's a means of helping them to think not only about recording what they've done in a documentary way, but beginning to really think critically about that, and to think about why one particular word describes what they've been doing better than another. So when they say they've done something like, I don't know, make a gesture, what kind of gesture? Yeah, where do they notice it? Where do they then notice it coming back, perhaps throughout the course of not just one video, but over a series? How do they account for the process of memory that's gone on with that, or the way in which they've begun to then perhaps use that as a performance device consistently in something that they're then making? So I guess I'm trying to help them to see the technology not as just something that records their assessment, but actually as a tool that advances their learning. Ultimately, I think I want to find a way of building assessment around that, as I'm concerned to really think about assessment not just as a test that one has to take, but actually something that advances your learning along the way. So when you're doing a piece of assessment, you're actually being invited to really think hard and think in a new way, and to present your ideas in a way that's useful from you, so you actually learn from that process as well as expressing what you've learned. What did we find? That it's really very dependent on students actually doing that. So I think in the longer term, I'd probably look at a way of embedding that as part of their assessment, rather than just part of the weekly class process, as I did. I found that we probably need collectively to work a bit harder on thinking about keywords, so to actually put some of the reflection on the reflective practice of thinking about those keywords actually into the classroom process. But also we found that some of the ways in which the system lays that out is maybe less helpful, that actually than we might have thought, if there was a way of actually sort of putting a series of thumbnails up rather than just a big list that you have to scroll down, that would be good. But ultimately I think it was quite a useful way of beginning to get students to think about how they can fold over, as I say, a practical process and a critical and reflective one.